My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
What the fuck did I just watch? That was absolutely fucking pathetic. That was inexcusable. That was disgusting. I feel like I need to douse my eyeballs and fucking bleach and call the CDC, have them come out and take all this giant shit away from my fucking man cave because it's hazardous to my freaking health. Go dispose of it in some kind of landfill or fucking island, or go take it to the fucking deepest parts of the freaking ocean, because this team is hot fucking garbage. It's fucking trash, and it goes up from the leadership to the coaching to the drafting to the players to the play calling. Everything is freaking broken in this team. There's no way that you can be this consistently fucking bad year after fucking year. The outlier being 2022, which that wasn't even your team anyway. That was Dave Gettleman's team. It's mind-boggling to me that this can happen. How the hell do you have all of this time to prepare, all of these decisions to be made, and you're confident coming into this season, and you have it's the 100-year celebration, you're wearing your legacy uniforms, you have all the Giants legends there, you have John Mayer, Steve Tisch there, and that's the game plan that you fucking call? That's the quarterback that you're choosing to go out there with? Inexcusable. Absolutely inexcusable, unacceptable. And I'm embarrassed to wear any Giants merchandise. Even tell people I'm a fucking Giants fan is embarrassing. And we'll get into everything in this video, everything that I was sickened by this freaking team. The first thing I really want to get into is the play calling. This play calling, and Brian Daboll, you do not have the scapegoat of Mike Kafka anymore, and you're supposed to be this offensive mastermind, this quarterback guru, the guy that made Josh Allen into Josh Allen. I don't know, maybe you're just a fraud. Like, you had the one good year, and then last year, horrible home opener versus the Cowboys. You know, second half of the Cardinals game was really the only thing Giants fans were able to hold our hat to for the majority of the year. These game plans, you look at what the Vikings were doing, and we know the Vikings had quarterback questions coming into this game. You know, going from someone like Kirk Cousins to Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's been passed around Sam Darnold's been passed around the league more than more than something else. But you know, they were able to scheme a game plan that really helped boost his confidence. It worked within the structure that he was most comfortable, most familiar with. He made everything easy for Sam Darnold, you know, and I don't understand why Brian Daboll is drawing up quarterback runs, designed quarterback runs, and you don't even have a running back in the backfield to even give the illusion that it could be handed off to the running back. I think Daniel Jones had more designed runs himself than our actual running backs did. He's coming off of an ACL injury, and the majority of your game plan was to have him use his legs. You're not getting him into quick throws, quick reads, I was going to say screen passes, but we all know how that went. It just seemed like everything was just so much easier for Sam Darnold today. And I know that the Giants aren't that bad. I know our offensive line is better. It proved it today. Daniel Jones had time today to throw the ball. But you weren't able to use the extra time that you had. You weren't able to use the additional weapons that we got in someone like Malik Neighbors or even Tyrone Tracy, which I think is probably the best running back on this team. It was like pulling teeth watching this freaking team play today. And it's like, why does every Giants home opener or the first game of the season every year feel like you feel like you can't even get excited because it's always like you're going to a funeral. Maybe they should have the Giants wear black every year on their opening game, because that would be more fitting, because I think we've only had like 2 wins in our opening games over the last 11, 12 years, something like that. It's ridiculous. That's how the hell does that even happen? How does that happen? And then you come out and you rip the play calling from Mike Kafka, and then you're just like, oh, he's not calling the plays that I want. He doesn't know the rhythm that I want to get into. He doesn't know this. He doesn't know that. And then you're going to take over the play calling, and then you come out with a fucking dud like that. And you can say the shit about last year's home opener when Mike Kafka was most likely calling the plays, but Giants weren't nearly as good of a team last year than they are this year, and the Cowboys are a way better team than the Giants. So you get better, and you're playing a team that's a little bit more in your ballpark, or at least what we thought was in our ballpark. And you basically lose in the exact same way. And it's got to be said. We got to bench Daniel Jones. We have to. He's not the future of this team. If Brian Daboll is serious about winning games and he wants to keep his job, you can't look me in the eyes and tell me that Daniel Jones gives us the best chance to win. You can't. It's not true. You should have benched him at the start of the second half. Okay, you should have brought in either Drew Lock or Tommy DeVito. I honestly probably would prefer Tommy DeVito over Drew Lock, because it just seems, Tommy DeVito, he'll throw an interception, but it seems like the ball is always progressing when he's on the field. 2 interceptions, another pick 6. Not feeling pressure, actively seeking out pressure. It's like he'll avoid a sack, but then he'll immediately find the next defender and then just sprint in his direction. This team is trash. This team is so freaking trash. And it's the quarterback, it's the offensive coordinator. I don't necessarily think it's talent with our weapons. I don't think it's our offensive line. That's not giving us our woes. It was the play calling today. It wasn't quarterback friendly. It was actively putting him in positions to not succeed, especially after looking what he went through last year. And then Daniel Jones, when he did get those limited opportunities to actually make plays, he screwed him up.
They've been able to pick it up quickly, and it's been really, really tough for the Giants offensively.
Bunch formation to the right.
Oh, wow!
Kinkle, touchdown!
Does Daniel Jones have the ability to audible out of plays? Does he have the ability to call different schemes at the line? Like I can't. I do not understand. But here's ultimately the thing about the Giants that really makes us just suck continuously is because we'll have a game like this, we'll get blown out, we'll look like we don't even belong in the NFL and we should probably go play an elementary school team. And then probably next week when we're playing the Commanders, Daniel Jones will probably have a good game. Brian Daboll will probably call a good game. And is it because, Daniel Jones just can't he can't work in a Brian Daboll offense? Well, if that's the case, then Brian Daboll isn't a very good coach, because if you can't get that much out of a quarterback that has the tools, has the intangibles, has the weapons, has the protection around him, if you can't work with that, look at what the Vikings did with Sam Darnold. It can be done. Everyone before this game started said that even though both teams had question marks at the quarterback position, Sam Darnold or Daniel Jones was a better quarterback than Sam Darnold. I heard that from the Giants people. I heard it from media pundits. I heard it from other podcasts. I heard it everywhere. So if they're able to work with that, if they're able to get that, make Sam Darnold look like the number 3 overall pick that he was, 7 years ago, then you should be able to do the same thing with Daniel Jones. I'm sorry. But at the same time, Daniel Jones is not the quarterback for this team. He's not he's not a part of this team's future. And what I worry about is that he's going to go out there, because I'm not scared of wins. I'm not for tanking, but what I'm scared of is that he's going to go out. He's going to probably win against Washington, and then we're going to go on a massive losing streak, probably with the 80% of the year, and then he's gonna probably, if he's even still healthy, probably have like he'll probably get hurt. Drew Lock or Tommy DeVito will come in, and then they'll probably win like 3 or 4 games, and then boom, we're picking like 7th or 8th in the draft again, and then we can't even we can't go get a quarterback, or we're gonna have to give up like 2, 3 first-round picks to go get up and get a quarterback. Because I don't think that he's good enough to win a Super Bowl. I don't think that he's good enough to take us to the playoffs, but I don't think he's also ultimately bad enough to lend us the 1st overall pick or the 2nd overall pick or anything like that. And I don't even want to think about the draft right now, but how can you not when there's such a glaring hole at that position on our team? And we've been with this guy for the last 6 years, and he hasn't really given us any faith. He did in 2022, but ultimately those hopes and dreams were shattered in 2023 opening day against the Cowboys. So he shouldn't be our starting quarterback. And if this regime is serious, if this coaching staff is serious, they will also believe that, and they will also want to put in someone like Drew Lock or Tommy DeVito. They give us a better chance to win. Because what is the worst that can happen is if Tommy DeVito goes out there and throws in 3 interceptions. All right, well, Daniel Jones throws interceptions too. The thing with Daniel Jones, though, the thing with Daniel Jones, though, is that those interceptions really mess with his confidence, and then he can't sustain a drive after something like that happens. He's so fragile mentally, and maybe he hasn't even fully healed mentally from the years with the Giants. So if you have someone like Tommy DeVito go out there and throw picks, typically they'll come out there and they'll at least be adequate enough to move the ball. It's not going to shake him. It's not going to rattle him. And I'm pretty sure with those guys, with the protection that Jones has currently and with the weapons that we have on this team, can really take advantage. Because I don't think Brian Daboll trusts Daniel Jones. It really doesn't seem like he trusts Daniel Jones. It felt like our playbook was like like a sheet of paper, or like literally only like 3 passing concepts, and then we rarely ever ran the ball. And then when we did, like I said, it was with Daniel Jones's legs. It wasn't with our running backs. And actually, funnily enough, after the game, Brian Daboll's play sheet was actually leaked online, and I was actually able to get a physical copy of it. And it's super interesting because I feel like it really explains a lot. Unacceptable. So yes, I do think Brian Daboll needs to be a better play caller. And if he can't do that, then you need to get somebody who can. If you need to let Mike Kafka call plays, let Mike Kafka call plays. If we can look back and compare going into the weeks ahead, that we can look for ourselves and believe that Mike Kafka is a better play caller than you, then let Mike Kafka call plays. Because that is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know if it's the play calling or if it's just the fucking scheme. Either way, you got to be better. You've had months to prepare for this game. You knew who you were playing in advance. You knew who they had on offense. You knew who they had on defense. It makes no sense to me. And I understand losing. Losing doesn't bother me. It's the competitiveness that bothers me. You know, there's a saying that players will win you games, but coaches will keep you competitive. We weren't competitive, and our players were shit. Our players were straight ass tonight. And the fans don't deserve this. The legends that you had in the building don't deserve this. And honestly, the players don't deserve this, because there are players on this team that you can tell are giving 100% every play, every down. And then when they're not on the field, it's a huge hole. And it's the impact is felt. As soon as you see a big play, you automatically know, oh, is this player? Oh, yep. They were resting this snap. Of course, that's why we just let up a big play. And one of those players to me is Dexter Lawrence. Dexter Lawrence shows up every Sunday, every primetime game. He makes an impact. But where the fuck are these other 2 edge rushers that we have? Oh, the 5-0 team, the NYPD, all this stupid nicknames that were given to these guys even before they even play a snap. But Brian Burns, the guy that we traded a high 2nd round pick to and paid over $100 million a year to come over here and help our defense. Where the fuck are you? Where are you? What did you do today? You didn't do. The only time I even noticed you a single tackle was the only time I noticed that you were even on the field. Otherwise, you could have had any other name on the back of that jersey. You could have had any other number on that jersey, and it wouldn't have been a difference. Same thing with Kayvon Thibodeau. This dude we drafted 5th overall 2 years ago or 3 years ago. 5th overall. Coming in here saying that he wants to break Michael Strahan's sack record. Talking all this shit in the in the off season, saying his effort, last year wasn't good enough, this, that, and the other. He honestly, Kayvon reminds me more of like a media personality than he does a football player. He seems more happy to do like interviews and commercials and like elevate his brand. But let me tell you, Kayvon, if you don't play good on the field, no one's gonna want you on their podcast. No one's gonna want to buy your shit. So the best way to help yourself, help your media career, help your branding, is to show up when you're asked to. You're a 5th overall pick. Some were saying that you should have been the number 1 overall pick. And maybe those other 4 teams and ahead of us before we picked, and that didn't take you, obviously they were, maybe they knew what they were talking about. Because you are a non-factor when it comes to, you show up maybe once or twice a year when we're going up against really shitty teams. Like, I'm sure when we play the Panthers, you're going to have a field day. Unacceptable. I can't with these guys that talk all this shit and then they can't back it up on the field. You have other players, from the Vikings. You have Ivan Pace, before the game saying like, oh yeah, we know exactly what they're going to do. And I know our defense and we're going to kick their fucking ass. And everyone was saying, well, how are you going to say that before you even play the game? Well, guess what? They did. He knew what he was talking about. He was confident in their scheme. He was confident in the players around him. I don't think that this team has confidence at all. And that comes from leadership. The leadership on this team is poor. Kayvon, you're like, honestly, bro, you're just a talker. I need to see you actually be like a game wrecker, down in and down out every game from the start of the season to the end of the season. Because it's hard to kind of look at your stats, look at your box scores and say, oh my God, you had 11.5 sacks. Well, if you actually go back and look at those sacks, they're all cleanup sacks. They're all coverage sacks. It might have been a mistake drafting you. It might have been. Like, I don't even think that you were even on the box score. I don't even think that you even had a tackle. The only time that I even remember seeing you on the field was when you got us a penalty with a face mask. How was that the only time that I can recall seeing you in a whole 60-minute game? You are the 5th overall pick. Act like it. Take some pride in your fucking work. There's no reason that you should have been that non-existent in this game. Same with Brian Burns. Brian Burns, you're a veteran. Okay, you're on this is your first contract, right? Over $100 million a year. Where the hell are you? Where the hell are these two guys? Non-existent. How come I always notice Dexter Lawrence, but I never notice you guys? Unacceptable. Unacceptable. And if it's some kind of an injury thing, or if it's like an illness, like if there's any kind of excuse, don't play these guys. Because I'm sure that someone healthy on the back end of the bench is probably better than an injured or a sick, whatever, Kayvon or Burns. That is so disappointing. We went into the season thinking that we went into this season, and the talking point and watching it on Hard Knocks is that the strength of this team is going to be the pass rush, and that we have to, and the worry was the secondary. Well, Sam Darnold had time to bake cakes, write letters, watch a movie, maybe take a bath. Like, he had like 5+ seconds back there, down in, down out. And the only person that I ever noticed that was actually getting pressure was Dexter Lawrence. So we were sold on that. The fan base was like, oh, okay, well, our secondary isn't very good, but our our pass rush is going to make up for that. You know, they're going to force errant throws. They're going to make the quarterbacks throw off their back foot. You know, they're going to force hurries. You know, that wasn't the case today. And if that continues for the majority of this season, or for like 6-7 weeks into the season, and that's still the case, then not only does Brian Daboll need to answer for that, but Joe Shane, your drafts have been garbage. Your first draft, let's look at that. You got Kayvon Thibodeau. We just got done talking about him. You drafted Evan Neal, not even playing. He's healthy on the bench. He sucks. Not good enough to play. I can't even remember anybody else from that draft that's even relevant. Who did we get in the second round that year? Oh, Wan'Dale Robinson. Wan'Dale Robinson's actually good. So, and then you get Wan'Dale Robinson, like Cordell Flott, Josh Azudu. Josh Azudu's ass. Cordell Flott's ass. These players are not fucking good. They're not NFL players. They're like one-trick ponies. Like, everyone likes to talk about Josh Azudu's feet quickness. Like, he was a guard in college, but he's got the feet of he's got elite feet. He can be he could be a tackle. No, he can't. No, he can't. It's obvious that he can't. This is year 3, and we've been shown nothing the last 2 years that he can be a tackle. So your drafting has been shit, Brian Daboll. Your coaching is shit. These players, I even feel bad calling these players shit, because they probably shouldn't have been drafted where they were drafted, but they're shit. So Kayvon, Burns, you guys cannot be invisible going forward. You cannot. That was what we were sold in Hard Knocks. That's what we were sold with the offseason acquisitions. That's what we've been sold with the media and people that create content for the Giants, because that's where they invested their money, was in the pass rush, and it's non-existent. That falls on the GM. I mean, we'll see how the rest of the season goes. Hopefully this game is just an outlier, The Giants are notoriously slow starters. But that is just so weird that two guys with that high of a pedigree, that you're investing that much money into a non-factor against a team that really shouldn't warrant those two getting completely shut down. And another thing about the play calling is I don't watch when I'm watching these games. I don't listen to the actual broadcast. I get more information actually listening to people on YouTube than I do from actual paid professionals, which is actually sad. But when you're listening to these guys, they can call the plays before the ball is even snapped. They know exactly where you're going with the ball. How come untrained people, quote unquote, armchair GMs, armchair coaches, quarterbacks, whatever you want to call it, can diagnose your play before the ball is even snapped? Know exactly where it's going, and then you talk to enemy or opposing team defensive players, and whenever the Giants have a turnover or an interception, pick six, whatever, they'll tell you like, oh yeah, we know that's exactly what they were gonna do. How can someone like Brian Daboll be referred to as like a quarterback whisperer, an offensive guru, but rookies in the league can tell you exactly what we're all about before we even go to the line of scrimmage? That's exactly how that pick six today happened. They knew it was so telegraphed. Everybody knew what we were doing. We were trying to get a screen pass out to Wan'Dale Robinson. There was no kind of disguise. There was no backup plan. There was no kind of deception, right? That was embarrassing. That was absolutely embarrassing. This was a bad day for the franchise. This is the 100th year celebration of this once proud organization. And then you go out and you lay an egg like that. And then people getting mad, players getting mad that the fans are booing. Well, play better. Like it sounds simple, right? Play better, coach better, win more games. I am so tired of being the laughingstock of this fucking organization, I am so tired of being the laughingstock of the league and being always the underdogs, always playing from behind, making everything look so hard. And there's no excuse for that because we have the horses to not make it so. You have LT go out for the coin toss. You have Phil Simms and Eli Manning ringing the bell. Gunnar Olszewski gets injured during warm-ups and you don't have a backup plan for who's going to be your kick returner. You just send Darius Slayton out there, who fumbled the ball again. If you guys look at my last videos when I talk about the special teams and how it's been such a predominant issue with this team for the last decade, you'll know why I'm so frustrated, because it doesn't matter who the hell is back there. We'll always seem to give away the ball on kick returns and punt returns. Every time you're holding your breath. Every time you're holding your breath. Everything is pulling teeth with this team. But at the end of the day, honestly, I can't change teams. I can never root for another team. I'm not a player guy. You guys know that. I root for the logo on the jersey, not the name. And this is a disrespectful, pitiful attempt by the Giants on their 100th year anniversary. But at the same time, I'm not going to leave them, right? I'm going to be here rooting for this team every week because that's who I am. I'm not jumping ship. I'm not going to go be a Jets fan. I'm not going to go be a Bills fan. No matter how bad things are with this team, I will always bleed blue. I just wish that the organization, the players, would show the fans that much respect, because you're mad that the fans are booing. We invest a lot into this team, and right now it's sick that you would even question why the fans are booing or be mad why the fans are booing. You know why the fans are booing. It's obvious why the fans are booing. Why is it such a mystery? We should boo you, because this is starting to have similarities and a reminiscence of the 70s Giants and how much those fans suffered. Because there's no excuses. No excuses. Be better. Don't be sorry. Be better. Now I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to be doing my week 2 preview against the Washington Commanders and their new quarterback Jaden Daniels, who I'm not really a huge fan of, but, you know, we'll see. Everybody seems to have a career day versus the New York Giants, so we'll see. But I'm going to leave it here. Thank you so much for making it this far. If you did, leave a like down below, leave a comment, let me know how you're feeling. If you're a Vikings fan, congratulations. You've earned it. You've earned it. Shouldn't have been that easy, but you earned it. But honestly, until next time, guys, I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
It's totally kicked. We couldn't do diddly poo offensively. We couldn't make a first down. We couldn't run the ball. We didn't try to run the ball. We couldn't complete a pass. We sucked. That was a disgraceful performance, in my opinion. We threw that game. We gave it away by doing that. We gave them the friggin' game. In my opinion, that sucked. We couldn't stop the run. Every time they got the ball, they went down and got points. We got our ass totally kicked in the second half. That's what it boiled down to. Holy crap. I don't know who the hell we think we are when we do something like that. Unbelievable. 5 turnovers. One of them, we've thrown 4 interceptions for touchdowns this year. That might be an NFL record. It was a horseshit performance in the second half. Horseshit. That's pitiful. I mean, it's absolutely pitiful to perform like that. Pitiful. It sucked. It stunk. Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.